Everybody in Bermuda owns a piece of that medal. I'm getting all emotional.
She went through a patch where she really wasn't in love with triathlon. She took a long, hard look at her life.
Flora Duffy is coming and asking the question of Potter, can you survive out front?
If Duffy wins here and then beats Taylor Brown in Bermuda, that's going to be a fourth world title. There is no one anywhere near her, physically or literally.
I mean, she was probably straining at the bit to get back, but I mean, it looked as if it was all over.
Because it'll definitely be my last Olympics.
Recently, it has been kind of giving me pause that I'm thinking, how did this all happen? Because we started off as a regular family with kids and, you know, no specific plans, but a normal life.
A swim coach wanted her to be a swimmer. The run coach wanted her to be a runner. But Flora's going to be a triathlete.
And then we end up going to these massive events around the world, like the Commonwealth Games. This is what I'm thinking of. And we end up, you know, we can get seats and everything, and we're pretty positive that our daughter's going to win the gold. And we're not nervous at all. We think, well, it's probably going to win the gold, no problem. And then she does. And then she goes on to even greater. Well, you know, obviously the Olympics was the pinnacle.
Flora arrived with our junior program when she was about 8 years old. She was invited after performing incredibly at the Iron Kids race. And from a young age, you knew there was something definitely different about Flora, just her focus. Triheads was the first junior program that was here. It actually started off as an offshoot of the Triathlon Association originally, and then we sort of formed it into a club, so we had that club atmosphere with the children, and they had a different kit. So they felt like they belonged to something when they were in their training. We picked up on Flora's talent from a very young age. I still remember taking her to the race in the States in around 95, 96. We went to do an Iron Kids race over there. And Flora pushed herself so hard to that finish line, she almost collapsed at the finish line. But she was just so determined to win. She has an incredible determination and a passion in whatever she does to win.
I think in the early stages of my career, I definitely felt like, I guess, yeah, you could say outsider, because I mean, I wasn't going to these races with a big team, with a, you know, with a coach there and a masseuse and a mechanic and, you know, whoever else. It was like literally just like me.
Flora Duffy, the young athlete from Bermuda who was hoping to get a big enough performance on the day to get herself to the 2012 Olympic Games.
But I think as my career has progressed and I've had more means and I've been able to pick and choose who I want to be on my team and who comes with me to the races, now I see it as a complete advantage because, yeah, we work together so well, and I'm the only one racing at that level. So, you know, if Dan, my husband, is there as my accredited coach, he's only got to look after me and help me get to the start line, and he knows exactly what I need when I need it, and we plan our schedule out. And so I can stand on the start line and know that I'm, you know, if it's a cold race, I'm not cold because we've planned this down to the very final tee, that I'm standing on that pontoon warm and ready to go, or if it's a heart race, vice versa. And so, yeah, now it's definitely a huge advantage. I see that we get to come in and operate as a really small team, get everything done and get out.
And for the first time in her career, Flora Duffy from Bermuda would have a chance to hear her anthem at a World Cup triathlon. The woman who goes to school in Colorado would have her first victory.
amazing. I mean, I'm starting to tear up. I'm so happy. It's been a long road to get here, but it's definitely been worth it. And today was definitely a hard race and a hard course, but I think that's what I needed to really make me just focus and really push, and it just totally played to my strengths today.
When she first started doing it full time, either my husband and I used to travel with her because she didn't have anybody there. You know, just somebody to look after the bike, look after your gear, or, you know, just somebody to be there. But now she's got down.
Never been number one and never been a favorite in a race, so it's huge. It's pretty exciting, actually. It's taken a while to get to have the ranking number one, but I'm excited for it, and you know, it definitely puts a little bit added pressure on, but I'm pretty confident with how I'm racing at the moment, and this is a good course for me, so I think it'll be good.
I mean, real early, I think she won her first triathlon locally when she was 7, and she won her first one abroad when she was 8. And she said back in those days, I want to be an Olympic medalist. So she's driven all this, really. You know, parents, we just support her, and because we're kind of athletic as well, a bit, and still. And so, you know, for her to be into sport was great for us.
You can hear the cheers for Flora Duffy. She, along with her countryman Tyler Butterfield, will be the 2 representatives at the 2012 Olympic Games.
I really felt it on the bike today. Just couldn't get going, and I was just holding on for dear life on the run.
That set the scene, and then, you know, find a school for her to go to from here. Where she went to Mount Kelly, and you know, she just moved along there and found the right coach and the right people, and moved to Boulder. Well, not to actually do triathlon, just to go to university there, and just got involved in the bicycling scene there, the cycling club, and one thing led to another, and the rest is history.
It was felt best she went away to boarding school, and she picked Kelly College, which is now called Mount Kelly, which is down in Tavistock. And the reason she chose that, it had a dedicated triathlon program. So she went there, and so I didn't coach her on a day-to-day basis, but I still traveled with her around the world to different races and watched her develop over the years into where she is today.
Definitely a massive culture shock for someone from Bermuda to go to boarding school in England. It rained there a lot. And the reason for that is I went to a pretty small school called Mount Kelly, and they had a great swim program and they had a small triathlon program. And when I went to visit, it just, fit exactly what I wanted. And it was a big step for me to sort of pursue my triathlon dream of like making it. There was other people around my age that were passionate about whether it was swimming or triathlon, and it just felt normal to be someone in their late teenage years that was pursuing sport at a high level whilst combining their studies. Whereas when I was here doing that, I kind of felt like I was one of the few, and it was really difficult because you kind of got pulled in different directions of hanging out and going to parties versus having a group of you that was really dedicated to sport.
So away we go, a magnificent field, a magnificent venue. It should be an absolutely thrilling next hour or so. So the question here, does Duffy have anything in reserve when and if, I guess you'd say, Taylor Brown has to attack? Well, she was asked the question by Taylor Brown and she has answered it. And on her day, at the moment, there is no one in the world that can touch Flora Duffy. Olympic champion, world champion. She wins in Abu Dhabi quite brilliantly.
So after Flora went to Kelly College and she finished there. She moved to Boulder and went to university, I think it's University of Boulder, to study. She went through a patch where she really wasn't in love with triathlon. She took a long, hard look at her life.
The reason for going there was, one, to do my studies, and two, I was taking a break from triathlon. I just wanted to be a normal 21-year-old. But I kind of in the back of my mind was like, but I think I'll probably want to get back into triathlon. And so if I go to Boulder, I can have the best of both worlds. And which was great. It was like one of the best decisions I've ever made. And my first few years there, I definitely tried not to be Flora Duffy, the girl that's gone to the Olympics a couple times, just like very normal. I guess I'd only gone to the Olympics once by then, but just very normal, enjoying being a college kid. And then as the years went on, I had a great coach at the time, Neil Henderson, and he just really allowed me sort of the space to kind of allow myself to get back into triathlon, not to have it pushed back onto me, just kind of recognized I had some talent and ability, but just needed to go at my own speed to get back into the sport. And so he really guided me well, and other training partners that I had there at the time. And eventually, got back into the sport and started racing again at a high level. It definitely took me a few years to get back into it. Sort of started to venture into the Xterra scene and had some success there, which really built my confidence. And then that helped like transition me back to having some confidence when I raced in the World Triathlon events. And so yeah, it's definitely been like full circle that that's where I was doing my final preparations for the Olympics as the Olympic favorite. And like, yeah, if I thought back to my journey to get to that point, just in my Boulder years, like, yeah, it's pretty unbelievable and really cool to see how I, found triathlon and sort of found myself again.
And then fortunately, she decided that it was her passion and she came back and has never looked back since.
Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to Hamburg in northern Germany for one of the most eagerly awaited events on the whole Triathlon Canada. So, completion of first lap. Duffy, Spivey, Lopez. Oh, here's a story. Flora's been penalised for equipment outside the box, and that is a 10-second penalty for the Olympic champion. Wow. There they are. You can't argue with the officials, can you? There is no question the Bermudian is gaining. Flora Duffy is coming and asking the question of Potter, can you survive out front? Look at this. Duffy has got past her, and this is just extraordinary. With a 10-second time penalty, Potter is not going away. This is not over yet, but this is still an astonishing display from Flora Duffy.
Like that on the run. I mean, I was like, this cannot come down to a sprint finish, so I just tried to lengthen it, but yeah, I gave everything out there and super pumped to take a win. After this year, it started off so weird with 2 times COVID, flying to races and my equipment not making it. So yeah, I'm pumped to win, pumped to get myself back in this series, and excited for the rest of the year.
During her worst injury in 2018 and into 2019, we visited her in Boulder to do what we could, which wasn't really much. And, rather than, she was probably straining at the bit to get back, but it looked as if it was all over. After 6-9 months, and it didn't seem to be getting any better.
At the time, it was incredibly stressful and certainly not ideal. Those are like kind of crucial time where you want to be racing, collecting points for the Olympics. and just, you know, continually gaining experience. And I was on the sidelines for that, which, yeah, at the time was horrible. Obviously now I can sit here and say in hindsight, it was actually probably kind of a gift, because instead of traveling around racing, jumping on long haul flights every few weeks, I was just at home, resting, rehabilitating an injury, but still being able to do a bit of training. And I think once I got back out there on the start line, like, I was really motivated and really excited to be back. And it was then only like a brief time from coming back from injury to the actual Olympics. So it's almost like, you know, I wasn't ready too soon, or wasn't ready too late. It was almost like everything fell in place just in time for that day to happen exactly as it did.
For the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, we were in the bar downtown called the Docksider, which is my husband's local bar. We'd rented the back room the Triathlon Association had, and everybody that was a member was down there with their kids, and, you know, in anticipation of what was going to happen. Plus the bar was full of people as well, so it was heart in the mouth moment. And, you know, just watching it all unfold on the TV, it was, until, you know, once she got out the swim, in the lead, near enough, off the bike in one piece, which is always critical. On the run, she just went, and that was it.
I was a wreck for about a week before the Olympics, only because I was terribly worried about the swim, because if you don't come out in the front pack, even Flora would struggle. And the commentary wasn't great. They didn't really identify who was in the top 6. I think they got the first 3, so I knew them, and I didn't know the other 3, and I was absolutely... Anyway, Flora's head bobbed up, I think 4th or 5th. And then I thought, well, that's fine. That's good.
Yeah, life after winning Olympic gold has definitely been way different than I could have ever imagined. And I guess it just speaks to the magnitude of the Olympics. Like, everyone tunes in to watch, and I guess in some regard, everyone can relate to it. And I think I didn't think of the aftermath of, like, oh, what would happen if I did win? I was literally just focusing on the race, executing a good race, and crossing that line first. And then I did, and felt like my life exploded, particularly here in Bermuda. I mean, everyone tuned in to watch. I was one of the first medal hopes since a long time. We only previously had a medal from boxing in 1976, I think, Montreal. And so, yeah, I knew everyone was watching. And then, yeah, after I won, when I came back home, I mean, I couldn't go anywhere without people recognizing me, and I couldn't go anywhere without people coming up to me and telling me about their experience watching me race. And it wasn't just like, oh, we watched you on TV. Like, if I could tell there was like a deep emotional connection of like what it meant to see a Bermudian achieve and win Olympic gold. And I think for me personally, as the person, it was quite like, it's beautiful, but it was quite a lot to take in and experience.
When Flora came across that finish line, it was absolutely incredible. The emotions, the room was alight. My friends' children were watching. They were all cheering. The whole room was shouting. And just all over Bermuda, actually, there were celebrations going on for Flora's gold medal.
Yeah, I said before Tokyo that I would never do another Olympics again, because it was just way too much stress and pressure, and that was going to be it. But then I won in Tokyo, and probably like 8 to 10 weeks later, as the season was sort of, you know, finishing up for the year, I thought, I don't know, maybe I could go back to Paris. One of the big reasons I would like to go to Paris is to have that full Olympic experience, to have a crowd, to have friends and family there, to enjoy moments with sponsors and really get to go watch other events and just mingle with other athletes, because it'll definitely be my last Olympics. And so I think to really go in there and just experience it all and to soak it all up would be, yeah, fantastic, and one of the sort of main reasons driving me to go for one more Olympic cycle.
Hello and welcome to beautiful Bermuda, albeit a bit windy, for the penultimate stop on this year's World Triathlon Championship Series.
The pride in just seeing Flora over the years is just, it makes me immensely proud. just to see how well she's done and how she's handled it. We would go to races and there would be federations there with physios, doctors, mechanics, and there would be Flora, myself and her dad at a race. And, you know, we would have to be nice to other people to get bike services, to help us out with stuff. At the major festivals, you're provided with a polyclinic, but it's always nice to have your own team. Flora's had an amazing support group behind her in the Triathlon Association in Bermuda, the Olympic Association. Her parents, her dad, you know, and parents financed her for years to get through to this. But it all paid big dividends, as you see now.
People were shouting, you know, my name, go Duffy, because she'd names on your butt, on your suit. You know, I thought, God, this is what it feels like for Flora. You know, and I'm only an age grouper, but everybody knows everybody, and that's just how it is. You know, so it really is. It's very touching. It's just, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
This is what she does, and she loves it, and we love her doing it. So, yeah, how long may it continue? Otherwise, I'll have to live my own life instead of hers.
The double fist pump. This is the race outside of the Olympics that means more to her than any other. And she was right in the thick of trying to get a 4th world title. That's on now in Abu Dhabi. Duffy wins by frankly as much as she wants to.
Yeah, I mean, today was incredible. I couldn't have asked for a better race. I was hoping to have a good day. You know, the crowd was incredible, racing at home as the Olympic champion, and I knew I needed a big performance if I wanted to, you know, keep my foot in trying to win this series. And yeah, today was just incredible. One of those days where everything lined up.